Hello, English learners, and welcome to another great lesson with us here at English Pod. My name is Marco.
And I'm Erica.
And today we're bringing you a great upper intermediate lesson.
That's right. We're going to talk about a topic that's been in the news recently. And this topic is...
the bird flu.
That's right.
So can you tell us what the bird flu really is?
Basically, the story is a lot of chickens and birds keep getting this disease. And they've managed to pass this disease to humans. And the fear is that humans will start to pass this disease to each other. And a huge number of people in the world could get really sick.
Okay.
Yes.
So it sounds scary.
Well, it may be a little bit scary, but we do have some interesting language. We've got language to talk about a disease and language that you might use in a planning meeting at work.
All right. So let's start by looking at our vocabulary preview for this dialogue.
Vocabulary preview.
Okay, the first word on our vocabulary preview today is contingency plan.
Contingency plan.
Contingency plan.
Contingency plan.
So a contingency plan is a
plan that you make to prepare for an emergency.
So like a backup plan.
Exactly.
Okay,
Yep.
Contingency plan. And our last word for the vocabulary preview today is pandemic.
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 So a pandemic is something scary.
Well, yes. It's an event where a disease affects a lot of people. Like we're talking millions of people.
Okay.
And it spreads very quickly.
Uh-huh.
And it goes international.
Okay, so a disease that spreads very fast and goes everywhere.
Exactly.
Okay.
Pandemic.
Okay, so we're ready to listen to our dialogue. We are going to be at a business meeting where people are talking about a contingency plan.
Well, right. Let's move to our next order of business. As many of you are aware, in recent weeks there has been a lot of media coverage surrounding this bird flu issue. And it's come to my attention that our company lacks any sort of bird flu contingency plan.
Basically, we need to come up with a clear plan. We need to outline specific actions that our company can take to maintain critical business functions in case a pandemic strikes.
So what I'd like to do is first appoint someone to look after drafting our plan. Ralph, I'd like you to head up this project.
Sure, no problem. What issues do you want me to consider?
Well, let's see. There are a few points we need to be thinking about. First, I'll need you to analyse our numbers and figure out what kind of financial impact an outbreak might have.
You'll also need to think about how we can avoid any of our employees getting infected. Think of ways to reduce employee-customer contact, perhaps some IT solutions that will allow our people to work from home.
I guess you'll need me to forecast employee absences as well, right? And I'll think about the impact this will have on our clients. Hey, what about vaccines? Should we be thinking about getting vaccines for our employees?
Exactly right. So I'll leave this to you, and well, we'll review the draft plan in 2 weeks. Okay, so anyone want to order some KFC for lunch?
All right, what an ironic meeting. They are talking about the bird flu and they are going to have chicken.
Yes, after sneezing all over.
Yeah, I guess now we could take a look at our language takeaway for this dialogue.
Language takeaway.
We heard a lot of really useful language in this dialogue, and right now we're going to look at 4 different words from the dialogue. The first one is critical.
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 We've got some examples of this word that'll help us to understand the meaning, so let's listen.
Example 1.
It's absolutely critical that we increase our sales. If not, the company will go bankrupt.
Example 2. We have a critical shortage of food. If we don't get help, people will die. Example 3.
This is a critical step in the process. You can't make a mistake here.
So when something's critical, it's basically...
really important, really urgent.
Right. Okay, great word. Critical. The next word we have is outbreak.
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 An outbreak.
So an outbreak is a sudden start of a disease, right? Mm-hmm. Can I say, oh, I got an outbreak of flu? Can outbreak describe one person?
No, an outbreak means that it's infecting a lot of people,
Okay.
not only one person.
So that we could say there was an outbreak of the flu at the office.
Right.
Which there was.
Yeah, a lot of people got sick here with the flu.
Yeah.
Okay, why don't you tell us about our third word?
Our third word is forecast.
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 Forecast. So to forecast basically means to predict.
Exactly.
For example, you talk about the weather forecast.
Yep.
Okay, great. And the last word for our language takeaway is vaccines.
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 So vaccines are something we all had when we were children.
That's true.
They are injections that you get to prevent you from getting sick later.
Right. So an injection of medicine from your doctor so that you don't get a disease in the future.
Right, when we are small, we get polio vaccines.
Yeah, or measles vaccines.
Measles, right.
Yeah.
A lot of common diseases.
Yes.
Okay, so that's all for language takeaways. Some great language related to health and disease. But we also heard some great business related words in this dialogue.
That's true. There's a lot of words that you can use in a planning meeting. So let's look at those now in Fluency Builder.
Fluency Builder.
In today's Fluency Builder, we're going to look at 4 useful phrases. Now, this first phrase you can use when you want to change the subject at a meeting. Let's listen to what they said in the dialogue.
Let's move to our next order of business. Let's move to our next order of business.
Okay, so let's move to our next order of business. It's a great way of saying, let's move on.
Exactly.
Let's pass to the next topic. Mm-hmm. Great.
Speaking of passing to the next topic, we heard another really interesting phrase in the dialogue. Let's listen.
We need to come up with a clear plan. We need to come up with a clear plan.
So we need to come up with a clear plan. We need to
Think of.
a clear plan.
Yeah, yeah,
We need to come up with.
yeah. Okay, our third phrase we heard in the dialogue is this.
Okay, I'd like you to head up this project.
So this phrase, head up, this is a great phrase.
It means I'd like you to lead or take care of this project.
Okay. And the last phrase for Fluency Builder, you can use when you want to give someone the responsibility of a job. We heard this.
So I'll leave this to you. I'll leave this to you.
So I'll leave this to you. This is, you take charge.
Exactly. I'll leave this to you.
That's a great way of delegating a responsibility. And so we're going to leave you to listen to our dialogue a last time. And be sure to pick up all the great vocabulary that we just talked about.
Well, right. Let's move to our next order of business. As many of you are aware, in recent weeks there has been a lot of media coverage surrounding this bird flu issue. And it's come to my attention that our company lacks any sort of bird flu contingency plan.
Basically, we need to come up with a clear plan. We need to outline specific actions that our company can take to maintain critical business functions in case a pandemic strikes.
So what I'd like to do is first appoint someone to look after drafting our plan. Ralph, I'd like you to head up this project.
Sure, no problem. What issues do you want me to consider?
Well, let's see. There are a few points we need to be thinking about. First, I'll need you to analyse our numbers and figure out what kind of financial impact an outbreak might have.
You'll also need to think about how we can avoid any of our employees getting infected. Think of ways to reduce employee-customer contact, perhaps some IT solutions that will allow our people to work from home.
I guess you'll need me to forecast employee absences as well, right? And I'll think about the impact this will have on our clients. Hey, what about vaccines? Should we be thinking about getting vaccines for our employees?
Exactly right. So I'll leave this to you, and well, we'll review the draft plan in 2 weeks. Okay, so anyone want to order some KFC for lunch?
Okay, great. So this contingency plan idea is really interesting, right?
Yeah, it makes sense for a company to prepare in case there is an outbreak of bird flu. I mean, they need to maintain their critical business functions, even if all of the employees are sick, hey?
Right, I guess that's really important, and you have to forecast all these possibilities, like people are going to be away from the office, or even forecast less sales, etc.
That's right. The interesting thing is that businesses that may not actually be involved in food production or raising chickens or something like that are making these contingency plans. I find that really fascinating. So it seems there is a lot of fear out there about the possibility of a pandemic.
Yeah. Well, hopefully they'll come out with a vaccine so we don't have to worry about these things.
That's true. But until then,
we'll have to create contingency plans.
That's right.
Okay, guys, we're out of time today, and I hope you enjoyed our lesson and found all these words and phrases really useful, and you can apply them in real life.
In ordinary life, staying well against a fast-spreading virus means mastering a few simple habits so that they become as automatic as brushing your teeth. First among these is wearing a mask correctly, a step that, done right, cuts by half or more the tiny droplets we send into the air when we speak or cough. A cloth or surgical mask must cover both mouth and nose snugly, with no gaps at the cheeks or the bridge of the nose. Before putting it on, wash your hands. Then hold it by the ear loops or ties. Secure it low under your chin and pull it up to the bridge of your nose. Adjust any stiff bar over the nose until it hugs your face. Never let the front of the mask touch anything. Door handles, tables, clothing, or you defeat its barrier function. When you remove the mask, take it off by the straps only, fold it inside out into its own pocket or a sealed bag, and stash it until you can launder it with hot water and detergent. Between uses, spray reusable masks with alcohol or disinfectant, or simply toss them into your next wash cycle. Discard single-use masks after no more than 8 hours of wear or any time they become damp. At home, and especially in small apartments, it can be tempting to think of masks as only for the outside world. In fact, if even one household member leaves the house each day, that person may return carrying unseen germs on their hands or clothing. Keep a clean mask on hand at the door. As soon as you step back inside, after a trip to the grocery store or a visit to a friend in another building, swap out the one you wore outside for a fresh mask you reserve for indoor use. Store the indoor mask on a clean hook or in a sealed container away from shoes, umbrellas, and doormats. If you can't launder your mask immediately, let it hang in a well-ventilated spot for at least 24 hours before next use, giving any remaining droplets time to dry out and lose infectivity. Even more basic than mask discipline is hand hygiene, the single most powerful habit for keeping pathogens at bay. Soap and water remain the gold standard. Vigorously rub all surfaces of wet hands, fronts, backs, between fingers, under nails, for at least 20 seconds before rinsing and drying on a clean towel or air drying. Sing happy birthday twice or hum a short tune to keep the timing right. If you're away from a sink, carry a pocket-sized hand sanitizer with at least 60% alcohol. Apply generously to both hands and rub until the liquid evaporates. Remember to sanitize after touching high-traffic surfaces, elevator buttons, handrails, ATM keypads, and before eating, drinking, or touching your face. At home, place small sanitizer bottles next to entryways so every return triggers a quick clean. In public settings, on city buses, in school hallways, at open-air markets, physically distancing yourself from others is your second line of defense. A safe gap of at least 1 meter 3 feet is a minimum. 2 meters 6 feet is even better. In crowded stores, quietly pattern your shopping list so you can move in and out briskly, slipping through aisles when they briefly clear. If you find yourself boxed in, turn your head slightly to one side to let any passing coughs veil you. In queues, whether for your morning coffee or the pharmacy, stand at marked intervals and sidestep if someone closes in. In rideshares or taxis, open the window on foul weather days if you must share tight quarters. When dining outdoors at a cafe, choose a table with at least 2 empty seats between you and the nearest patrons. Inside your home, safe distances look different but follow the same principle. If one family member is unwell or has merely returned from an office or school, maintain a 2-meter radius around them for the first 48 hours of possible symptoms. Cook and serve food in disposable containers rather than shared dishes. Sleep in separate rooms if you can. If that's impossible, set up a clear, clean zone in the living room where mask wearing and hand sanitizing protocols apply even indoors. Make sure that everyone rinses hands before passing through this zone. And air it out frequently by opening windows for at least 10 minutes twice a day. Finally, beyond hands and masks, routine environmental disinfection seals the chain of protection. Identify hot zones, the handful of doorknobs, light switches, and faucet handles you touch dozens of times per day. Every evening, use a diluted bleach solution, 5 milliliters household bleach per liter of water, or an EPA-approved disinfectant wipe on those surfaces. In your kitchen, wipe down countertops before and after meal prep with soap and water, then a disinfectant spray. Don't forget toys, remote controls, keyboards, and cell phone screens. Anything you handle frequently. After you disinfect, always wash your hands again to clear away any residual chemicals. By syncing mask discipline with meticulous hand washing, measured distancing, and targeted surface sanitation, you create overlapping layers of safety that keep viruses at bay. Each practice on its own is helpful. Together they act like a 3-ply mask for your everyday life. In the next section, we'll explore how families can organize their routines and living spaces to make these habits habitual, seamlessly woven into each day rather than imposed as extra chores. But for now, by mastering these foundational steps, you have already built a fortress of protection around yourself and your loved ones. In the weeks and months that follow an outbreak, it's common for even the most resilient families to find their nerves fraying. As the novelty of stay-at-home lessons and remote work wears off, boredom, cabin fever, and unease about loved ones' health can breed friction. Yet, with a few simple daily rituals and an open heart, a household can become its own support network, each member a source of practical help and emotional strength, so that no one faces this strange new world alone. When you shop online or study through video calls, small routines keep you grounded. Designate a single office corner or study nook, separated, even by just a low bookshelf, from your family's living area. At a set hour each morning, gather everyone briefly over a shared cup of tea or coffee, delivered by one person to the rest on a tray, then disperse to your tasks. During the day, build in short breaks, 2-minute walks around the block or 5-minute stretch sequences in the hallway, to revitalize tired bodies and minds. If children are part of your household, turn a quick brain break into a family game, Simon says, or a hallway basketball shot with a paper ball, so that everyone reconnects between Zoom sessions. Balanced rest is every bit as vital as steady work. By late afternoon, pause screens altogether for at least an hour. Swap your laptop for a board game, a 20-minute family dance party, or a recipe that turns meal prep into quality time. Keep walks brisk and frequent, aiming for 30 minutes of movement each day. Run up and down the porch steps, toss a ball in the yard, or pace in place if you can't go outside. In an apartment, put on a favorite song and march in circles around the living room. Kids and pets will love the energy, and endorphins will reward you all with better moods come bedtime. Nutrition ties directly into immune performance. Faced with sluggish delivery schedules and pantry shortages, explore simple, nourishing recipes that rely on pantry staples, lentils, canned tomatoes, dried spices, frozen vegetables, and turn them into hearty stews, curry bowls, or vegetable-packed pasta sauces. Assign each family member a daily cooking slot so that meal planning becomes a shared responsibility, sparking pride and easing the mental load on any one person. If fresh produce is scarce, rotate smoothies made from frozen berries and shelf-stable spinach powder. Toss in nuts or seeds for protein, and you've created a vitamin-rich treat that doubles as an afternoon pick-me-up. Beyond the physical, keep a vigil on everyone's emotional well-being. At the end of each day, perhaps after dinner and dishes, gather for a high-low circle. Each person names one high point and one low point of their day, and the group listens without interruption. Such rituals validate everyone's experiences, from a teenager's frustration over a flubbed math test to a grandparent's loneliness at missing a regular coffee meetup. When someone shares a low, family members can offer empathy. I know staying in at night feels heavy. Let's plan a movie on Saturday. Or a concrete gesture. I'll text your friend to say hi on your behalf. Simple acknowledgments like that sounds frustrating, or you did your best today build trust and remind everyone they're not running on empty. If feelings spill over into anger or stubborn silence, introduce a cool-off corner. A chair outfitted with a comforting pillow, earphones and a playlist of calming sounds, a journal, and a small whiteboard with prompts, I feel, because, to help sort thoughts. A short walk with headphones or 10 minutes of mindful breathing often dissolves tension before it escalates into hurtful words. For deeper emotional support, families can adopt short guided counseling techniques at home. One effective method is the feel-faced mask exercise. Take a sheet of paper, draw a blank mask template, and have each member write or sketch one worry on one half and one gratitude on the other. Then hang them on a door or wall for all to see. This visual checkpoint acknowledges shared anxiety. I worry about the bird flu mutating, and shared hope. I'm grateful for our nightly family dinner. It reminds everyone that while times may be uncertain, the bonds holding you together remain strong. If any member exhibits persistent sadness, anxiety attacks, or signs of burnout, insomnia, irritability, loss of appetite, it may be time to seek external help. Telehealth services and online support groups have flourished in recent months, making professional counseling as accessible as a video chat. Many clinics now offer sliding scale fees. Some community centers provide free virtual workshops on stress management, meditation, and family communication skills. A single guided session can equip you with coping mechanisms that ripple out to benefit the whole household. By integrating these daily adjustments, structured work and play rhythms, shared cooking and exercise, high-low circles and empathy rituals, families build a resilient routine that nourishes both body and mind. Acknowledging each person's fears, celebrating small victories together, and marking collective achievements, the next hatched loaf of bread, a successfully retooled remote presentation, a completed puzzle, create a tapestry of support and normalcy. Looking back over the 3 parts of our guide, individual and familial epidemic prevention begins with airtight personal defenses, properly fitted masks, rigorous hand hygiene, thoughtful distancing, and precise cleaning schedules. Layered atop that is a second shield of lifestyle adjustments, mastering remote work and study, mindful scheduling of rest and activity, and nutrition that fuels immune health. Finally, the most enduring fortification is emotional. Daily rituals of sharing highs and lows, tools for de-escalating stress, creative empathy exercises, and, when warranted, professional counseling. Together, these 3 pillars, protective habits, balanced living, and psychological support, form a comprehensive blueprint. By weaving them seamlessly into everyday life, individuals and families not only withstand a pandemic's challenges but emerge with stronger bonds, healthier habits, and a deeper trust in their collective resilience. In any prolonged health crisis, families and individuals find their own home routines wearing thin, and so the next vital layer of protection lies in reaching outward. By pooling resources, time, and goodwill through community mutual aid and volunteer efforts, neighborhoods become more resilient networks of care, rather than isolated households struggling alone. Walking the streets or dialing the phone, volunteers serve as the front line of compassion when illness or quarantine severs everyday connections. A simple material distribution campaign may begin by registering willing hands to pack and deliver masks, hand sanitizer, thermometers, and sanitized grocery kits to doorstep after doorstep. In apartment complexes, teams of volunteers can coordinate block by block. One person calls ahead to assess each household's needs. Another packs the kit with gloves and wipes, and a third sets it gently at the door, ringing the bell only once, then stepping back at a safe distance. At the same time, a telephone condolence shift offers a whispered lifeline of human warmth. Trained callers, using a scripting guide developed by local health authorities, check in on quarantined or homebound neighbors, remind them of delivery times, answer simple FAQs about symptom monitoring, and, above all, listen. A regular 5-minute call, at the same time each day, breaks up isolation and offers a moment of reassurance when television headlines can feel relentlessly grim. Oh, yet another dimension of community volunteering blossoms when we remember our elders and other vulnerable populations. A neighborhood support group is nothing more than a roster of volunteers matched to streets or apartment lobbies, each tasked with checking in on 1 or 2 senior residents living alone. If Mrs. Jenkins on 4B needs her prescription picked up, the roster keeper arranges a no-contact drop-off. If Mr. Alvarez down the hall misses the daily morning call, the volunteer alerts the homeowner association's health coordinator. By using simple shared spreadsheets or even an analog bulletin board in a stairwell with sanitized pens, volunteers signal availability and update one another so no one slips through the cracks. Families with children might volunteer to prepare small welcome-back baskets, freshly laundered towels, a thermos of soup, or a stack of crossword puzzles to deliver once the quarantine neighbor tests negative and can return to normal life. Oh, as these mutual aid efforts evolve, communities gather virtually or in well-spaced outdoor meetings to swap stories of what worked, what still struggles, and how to refine processes. A volunteer who discovered a faster route from pharmacy to critical care homes will teach others. Another who mastered the art of sealing plastic bags without tearing them shares tips on knotting techniques. These experience sharing sessions, often held over video conference platforms or via a rotating porch-to-porch workshop where one household hosts in their driveway while others watch from their yards, cultivate a culture of problem-solving. A running log of lessons learned, doorstep delivery guide v. 3-inch, might circulate by email or a community website, so newcomers don't reinvent wheels already polished by more seasoned volunteers. After the crisis abates and epidemiologists declare the outbreak contained, this same network shifts into aftercare support. Grief counseling teams convene for families who lost loved ones. Small grants funded by local business sponsors help wrap up lingering medical bills or fund celebratory block parties that never happened during full lockdown. Community gardens, planted as fundraising projects to supply fresh produce during quarantine, blossom into permanent green spaces that feed hungry neighbors long after mask mandates lift. Lessons learned in telephone follow UPS become enduring phone trees for snow day cancellations or neighborhood watch alerts. Oh, by embedding volunteer projects, neighbor-to-neighbor care, and post-crisis reflection into the community's DNA, families no longer shoulder the burden alone. Through mutual aid, we not only guard against the physical spread of disease, but also inoculate our neighborhoods against the social isolation that so often accompanies quarantine. In so doing, we transform a public health emergency into an opportunity to strengthen bonds, foster cross-generational friendships, and build a shared archive of resilience practices. Oh, in tracing this journey from personal mask discipline and home disinfection, through balanced daily routines and family psychological support, to expanding our circle outward with community mutual aid, we arrive at a full constellation of epidemic prevention. Each layer amplifies the next, and each practice, once habitual, weaves into the fabric of everyday life. By practicing the basics rigorously at home, adjusting our lifestyles mindfully, and then stepping into community service and solidarity, individuals and families chart a path through the uncertainties of any outbreak. This 3-part blueprint does more than halt pathogen spread. It builds healthier, more connected, and infinitely more compassionate societies, ready not only to endure the next crisis but to emerge stronger on the other side.
The English Pod Audio Review. Listen to the meaning, then say the vocabulary word. An issue that must be discussed. Order of business. Flu originated from birds that carry virus. Bird flu. A plan that prepares for a situation where things can go wrong. Contingency plan. Extremely important. Critical. A situation where a disease is spread out very quickly and affects many people in many countries. Pandemic. Make a first version of something. Draft. Major influence or effect on something. Impact. A sudden start of disease affecting many people. Outbreak. Lead and be responsible for. Head up. Predict what is going to happen based on available information. Forecast. Medical substance that protect people or animal against diseases. Vaccine. Let's try that faster. A situation where a disease is spread out very quickly and affects many people in many countries. Pandemic. Predict what is going to happen based on available information. Forecast. Flu originated from birds that carry virus. Bird flu. A situation where a disease is spread out very quickly and affects many people in many countries. Pandemic. A sudden start of disease affecting many people. Outbreak. An issue that must be discussed. Order of business. Medical substance that protect people or animal against diseases. Vaccine. A sudden start of disease affecting many people. Outbreak. Flu originated from birds that carry virus. Bird flu. A sudden start of disease affecting many people. Outbreak. Lead and be responsible for. Head up. Predict what is going to happen based on available information. Forecast. Lead and be responsible for. Head up. A situation where a disease is spread out very quickly and affects many people in many countries. Pandemic. A plan that prepares for a situation where things can go wrong. Contingency plan. Make a first version of something. Draft. Flu originated from birds that carry virus. Bird flu. An issue that must be discussed. Order of business. Make a first version of something. Draft. An issue that must be discussed. Order of business. Now say the word and hear it in a sentence. Critical.
It's absolutely critical that we increase our sales. If not, the company will go bankrupt.
Impact.
The cost savings plans have a positive impact on our profits.
Draft.
I'm going to draft an email. Can you read it when I'm done?
Contingency plan.
The purpose of this meeting is to develop a contingency plan in case the workers decide to strike.
Forecast.
John, please tell us about the forecast revenues and expenses for the upcoming month.
Outbreak.
This outbreak has already caused more than 1,000 deaths.
Head up.
If I receive the promotion, I will be heading up the implementation of new policies.
Critical.
It's absolutely critical that we increase our sales. If not, the company will go bankrupt.
Impact.
The cost savings plans have a positive impact on our profits.
Draft.
I'm going to draft an email. Can you read it when I'm done?
Thanks for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed this episode and gained some new insights. Don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss any future episodes. See you next time.